Hi, welcome to Living Your Yoga. My name is Lucy, and today we're going to do a short pelvic floor sequence that I teach quite regularly in my Well Woman classes. So this one is a little bit of a favourite. All you need to do is have maybe a mat or something comfortable to lie on, and you might even like a blanket or a pillow to pop into your head just to make you a little bit more comfortable. Some people find having a little prop of a bolster or some pillows above their head can be quite supportive if they've got any restriction in their shoulder mobility. You'll see why as we start to move through the practice. Just to begin with, have the feet flat on the ground and have the feet and the knees around hip width apart, and just let the arms rest either side of the body. Take a breath in through the nose, and either breathe out through the nose or through the mouth. And do the same again. So breathe in through the nose. And as you breathe out, just invite your body to really feel the support of the ground beneath you. So you want to feel all the points of contact that the back of the body has with the ground. So maybe allowing the shoulders to soften slightly. Maybe feeling a softness in the jaw as well. Sometimes when we start to exhale into a practice, we can identify areas of tension. So just be aware of these, and maybe throughout the practice, you might start to notice them more, or they might start to soften. So we're going to take another breath in through the nostrils. And as you breathe out, just push the feet firmly into the ground and lift the pelvis and the spine just an inch or two off the ground. And I'd like you to really feel strong through your legs and root through the feet. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, float the spine and the pelvis down in one piece, as though your spine and your pelvis is a plank of wood. And then let everything soften and give way into the ground. We're going to do that again. So you're going to breathe in through the nostrils. Breathe out, push the feet into the ground nice and strong, and just lift the pelvis and the spine up again, just an inch or two, and see if you can feel a bit of length through your neck. So instead of looking up to the ceiling with the chin pointing up to the ceiling, you're just going to let your gaze almost go in the direction of the tip of your nose. Take a breath in while you're here, and then exhale, float the spine and the pelvis down again in one piece. So if you've got any lower back issues, this sort of lowering down the spine and the pelvis like a plank is going to be more effective and more comfortable for you to lower. Take a breath in stillness again. Breathe out through the mouth, push into the ground, maybe lift the pelvis and the spine a little bit higher if that's comfortable. Strong through the feet, breathe in through the nose. And then exhale again, use the feet and the legs to lower down. Some of you might find you can lower one vertebrae at a time, all the way down to the ground. So you'll get a little bit of a pelvic tilt. You might connect a little bit to your pelvic floor as you use a tilt there. Breathe in again in stillness. Breathe out, push the feet into the ground, lift the pelvis and the spine, maybe a little bit higher. Again, strong root through the feet, legs are nice and strong. And just stay here if you can. And we're going to breathe freely and see if you can just relax the buttocks. And this is a bit of a favourite in my class. So relax the buttocks and then see if you can just engage the right buttock and then engage the left buttock. Breathe freely. Release the right buttock and then release the left. Breathing in, breathing out all the time. Engage the left buttock, engage the right, release the left and release the right. And again, engage the right, engage the left, release the right, release the left, engage the left, engage the right, release the left, release the right. And then push the feet down, lift the pelvis and the spine a little bit higher if that's comfortable for you. Take a nice big breath in. And exhale, either peel or float the spine and the pelvis down again. So you're either floating the spine and the pelvis in one piece to protect back and be really steady, or you might lower one vertebra at a time. And let everything soften and give way into the ground. Take a breath here. Just notice how that feels before we go any further. If you're not used to this sort of practice with the spine, sometimes that can just be enough to start with. And then while you're here, let's draw the knees into the chest, one hand on each knee, and gently circle the knees in a clockwise direction. And just notice how that feels on the lower back. And breathing in and out freely here. We'll start coordinating the breath with the practice in a moment. And then circle the knees in the opposite direction. And you can make these circles as small or as large as you like, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And then just to keep the attention down into the pelvis and the hips, let's circle the knees in opposite directions. And this can be quite nice if you've been sitting quite a lot, or you have sort of stiffness in the hips. I like to imagine that I'm oiling into my hip joint here. It can feel quite comfortable for a lot of people. And then circle the other way, breathing in, breathing out, nice and freely. Keeping the jaw nice and soft. And let's bring the feet down again, feet and knees hip width apart. And just for a little bit of exploration with the shoulders, let's take a breath in this time and push the feet down, lift the pelvis, the spine and the arms up and over the head. So here you might find, if you've got any restriction in your shoulders, having some cushions or a bolster above the head to rest the arms on. And then when you exhale, we're going to just gently bring the arms down, the spine and the pelvis, everything comes to land here again. Be aware of the neck at the same time so you're not letting the chin point up to the ceiling, keep the neck long. Inhale, push the feet down, lift the pelvis and the spine up, arms up and over. And exhale, return, arms, spine and pelvis, lower all the way down. We'll just do it one more time. We'll see how this feels for you. Breathing in, this can be quite nice and energizing. And breathing out, lowering the arms down by the side. And take a breath in, take a breath out, shift the feet to make sure you're comfortable. So normally I would invite people to rest their hands here on the lower belly with the thumb and the first finger touching just below the navel. And see if you can sense the breath in the lower belly. So you're not trying to force the breath down to the lower abdominal area. Just try and see if you can sense the breath here. Sometimes if we've been quite stressed or we're quite anxious, we'll feel the breath quite high up. So we're just trying to get ourselves a little bit more grounded and bring our attention to our pelvic area. If your elbows are off the floor and they feel unsupported, some people find that bringing the thumbs into a fist and just resting the hands gently either side of the body can also help direct a sort of downward flow of breath so you can feel more movement in the lower abdominal area. It might work for you, it's different for everyone. Notice what feels best. And just breathe in and breathe out here. So we're going to start our pelvic floor practices now. I invite you to work with a little bit of breath retention in the practice. If that feels uncomfortable for you, you ignore my guidance with the breath completely and breathe freely throughout to the rhythm of your own breath. So don't do anything when I'm guiding with the coordinated breath that feels uncomfortable for you. Be your own guide. When I invite you to engage the pelvic floor muscles and hold them, it's not like a clenching really tight. It's as though you're gently trying to tone and lift the muscle. When you're holding here, if it feels like the muscles keep releasing, just keep on re-engaging them. Over time, they'll just build and get stronger. If you're somebody that's got a pelvic floor that's already quite holding and quite engaged, then you might like to not try and work to engage and lift the pelvic floor. Your efforts might be on how to relax and release the pelvic floor. So maybe use the practice just to see how you go and give yourself a little bit more insight into your how your pelvic floor toning is for you today. Okay, so let's begin. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, take the arms up and over the head. And exhale, push the feet down, lift the pelvis and the spine up as high as is comfortable for you. Ground through the feet, nice strong legs. Breathing in fully. And breathe out fully to the end of the breath. I like to breathe out from my mouth here. Suspend the breath. And then gently engage the pelvic floor. So you're drawing the vaginal walls together and up towards the cervix. Really gently. See if you can hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you're ready, take a breath in. And use the feet to slowly lower the spine and the pelvis down to the ground again. And when your bottom lands on the ground, gently release the pelvic floor. Inhale, swing the arms up over the head. And you might exhale, rest the hands on the belly or either side of the body as before. Totally up to you, depends on how comfortable you feel. Take a couple of breaths and just notice if you're able to relax that pelvic floor or soften it at least. And then again, inhale, take the arms up and over the head. Exhale, push the feet down, lift the pelvis and the spine up as high as is comfortable for you today. Take a breath in and a long breath out. Suspend the breath. And again, gently engage the pelvic floor, drawing the vaginal walls together, up towards the cervix, holding here, suspending the breath for another 3, 2, 1. Take a breath in. And exhale. Lower the spine and the pelvis again, all the way down. And you'll feel, if you've got the pelvic floor engaged, you might feel this sort of little bit of pressure between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor muscles as you've still got them lifted. And then when the bottom lands, release the pelvic floor and hopefully you'll feel all the muscles soften. And then inhale, bring the arms up. And exhale, rest the hands again, either on the belly or by the side of the body. Take a breath. And again, inhaling, arms up and over. Exhaling, push the feet down, lift the pelvis and the spine up. Take a breath in and a long breath out. Suspend the breath, engage the pelvic floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breath in and exhale, gently lower. And when the bottom lands, release the pelvic floor muscles. Inhale, swim the arms up. And exhale, rest the hands on the belly and breathe. And just see if you can sense the breath dropping down to the abdominal area. And as I said before, if any breath retention makes you feel uncomfortable, ignore my breath guidance and breathe to the rhythm of your own breath. What feels best for you? Let's go again. If you're happy to, inhale, arms up and over. Exhale, push the feet down, lift the pelvis and the spine up. Take a breath in. And a long breath out. Suspend the breath. Engage the pelvic floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale, lower the spine and the pelvis all the way down to the ground. When the bottom lands, release the pelvic floor. Inhale, swing the arms up. And exhale, rest the hands again. And let everything soften and breathe here. So I'm just going to do one more round. And as always, the more you come to this practice, you'll decide how many rounds you want to do and what feels good for you. Maybe adding this practice to the beginning or the end of an existing movement practice. And one more. Inhale, arms up and over. Exhale, push the feet down, lift the pelvis and the spine up. Take a breath in. And a long breath out. Suspend the breath, engage in the pelvic floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And exhale to lower. When the bottom lands, release the pelvic floor. Inhale, swing the arms up. And exhale, rest the hands again on the belly or by the side of the body. Breathing in, breathing out. See if you can sense that you've softened and got that sort of release of the pelvic floor. Maybe feel a fullness in the belly as you breathe in and breathe out now, encouraging a softness. And then when you're ready, draw the knees towards the chest. If comfortable, holding onto the shins or behind the creases in the knees, whichever's best for you. If you don't have any neck or shoulder issues, you might like to lift the head up as though you're bringing the nose between the knees. It's just a direction, so you just get a nice counter pose for the spine and the neck. Breathing in and breathing out here. Soft belly. And then encourage that inhalation to really feel like it's going all the way down to the pelvic floor. And let the belly expand as you breathe in gently. And then contract as you exhale gently. 2 more breaths. And then on the next exhalation, let the head come back down to the ground. Bring the feet back onto the mat. Take the arms to the sides. They don't have to be too high. Just let the palms face the ceiling so the shoulders can roll back. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, drop the knees over to the right-hand side, turning the gaze to the left. And when you're ready, breathe in, bring the knees to the center. And exhale, knees to the left, and turn your gaze to your right. Inhaling, knees to center, and exhaling to twist. Inhaling to center, and exhaling to twist. So quite often if you feel like you need more stability around the pelvis when you're twisting, I'd recommend bringing the feet closer together. If not, some people like to take their feet a little bit wider apart so you really get that sort of window wiper twist. Breathing into the center and breathing out. All of these practices are designed so that you can adjust them to make them comfortable for yourself. There's always movements to adapt in your practice. And then when you're ready, just come back to the center, let the knees rest together. Maybe take the feet a little bit wider and you'll feel perhaps a little bit more lengthening down the lower back, having more contact with the back on the ground, allowing that lower part of the back where we normally have a curve in the spine, and just see how that feels. So you're giving the pelvis a little bit of a tilt naturally without forcing, just by simply having the knees together and the feet wide. Feel length through the neck, breathing in, breathing out. Notice how your pelvis feels, how the lower back feels. Breath and pelvic floor. And then when you're ready, you might like to roll onto the side, come up to sitting, and maybe carry on with another movement practice or go about your day. Thanks for practicing with me today.